Hey, everybody, welcome back. It is the long-awaited return of Dadcast Podcast. You know the cast of characters. I am JP. That guy down there is Nick. How are you, buddy?
Dude, I'm good, man. I'm excited. It's been a year.
It's been literally a year and like 3 weeks since we have
Yeah.
recorded and produced or done anything Dadcast related. You know, we've had the other podcasts going on, Grind Lifestyle, et cetera, but this is the first official Dadcast episode. And I couldn't be
And
more
we have such a
excited.
great guest today, too. Like, this guy has
Absolutely.
become a really good
Who,
friend, and
who is it?
I'm stoked.
Well, speaking of guests, let's introduce the man who will be on the show today. He's got a whole bunch of things going on, but he's the lead singer of the hard rock band Brand New Sin, solo artist known as Just Joe. He is the voice of the iconic WWE theme song for The Big Show, also in AEW, and he's a versatile singer, songwriter. He covers everything. I literally just watched him on an Instagram video cover Run to the Hills by Iron Maiden in such a pure, beautiful way. It was amazing. He is Joe Altier, man. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good.
Sorry for the
I'm
long-winded intro. It's what I'm
no,
known
it's
for.
all good.
If
It's a
you
lot.
can't
It's
tell,
the fluff.
JP loves wrestling. And, like, I didn't
Yeah.
tell him that you were the voice of anything with that, anything to do with wrestling at all. I wanted him to find that out on his own. And
Ah, I love it.
Yeah, dude,
That's awesome.
I grew up with WWE, et cetera.
So
We'll
did
get
I.
into that first, but you know,
do you have your belt? Like, do you have
You
your
have a
belt
belt?
still?
bro, I got all the belts. Do I put it
He
on?
goes to Vegas to the freaking
Okay.
nerd convention. I call it the
Baton?
nerd convention
Baton?
because it's
I've got one pretty close. That the others I got like packaged up. But I got one real close that I'll bring out here in a sec. But I haven't asked the question in a year, Nick. I'm so excited. The
I
first
know.
question, the rite of passage on Dadcast, Joe,
All
is
right.
this: Are you a dad?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, buddy. So tell us about it, man. How many kids you got? How old?
All right. So I became a stepdad first with my ex-wife, and that was in like 2010. And she had at the time a 3-year-old daughter who is now 19 and a sophomore in college. So that was my first introduction into being like a dad. Was help raise her, and then I became an official dad in 2013 with the birth of my daughter. And so but I'm still super close to my stepdaughter. Actually, we all went together last night to see the Michael Jackson Broadway play.
Ooh.
How
So,
was that?
it was incredible. It was so good just because like it the premise of it, without going down a rabbit hole with it, is that it's Michael Jackson getting ready for the Dangerous tour. What is early 90s, I think 92, 93 was when he was doing this big tour. And remember, that was the one where he came out and he got slingshot up in the air and he's like standing. That was the Dangerous tour. So it starts with that. It's the rehearsals for that, but then it's kind of a retrospective of his life and the songs and the music. And there's young Michael, there's Michael at the dangerous time, and then there's the in between Michael. And each person, like, that's a tall order to, like, you got to be Michael Jackson. You got to dance like him. You got to sound like him. You got to talk, like all of that. So it was cool. But my daughter and I go to all of them. I'm on the media list in Syracuse. So I get passes to every Broadway show every season. So that's something we've been doing for a number of years. And my stepdaughter happens to be home from college, and I try to get as much time with her because I don't get to see her as much. So last night we did, it was a daddy-daughter night with the three of us, which is a more rare thing nowadays. So it was awesome. So yes, that's the story of me being a dad.
That's awesome. We're going to get a lot more into that. You and I, we kind of parallel the same path. And something you said, I hate the word trigger, and not in a bad way, but I feel like after I explain what I'm about to explain, you'll understand.
Yeah.
I have a stepdaughter as well. I was introduced and she came into my life at 3 years old. She
Yeah.
just turned 21 about a month ago, almost to the day. And then you said you had your other daughter and you became I think you said you became an official dad.
An official dad, yeah.
And right there is when I know there's going to be people listening who see this podcast who go, no, 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 you're her dad, et cetera, et cetera. But I know exactly what you meant when you said that. And
Yeah.
I have struggled with that as well her entire life. Her dad is in the picture. He's a great guy.
Yep.
It's all good. I don't know how that parallels you there, but
Same. Absolutely
it's
same. Yeah.
it's weird for me when I, because I'll in public, if anyone, this is my daughter, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. But she sometimes, depending on who's there and what the situation is, will be like, this is my stepdad or this is my dad, et cetera, et cetera. And it doesn't bother me either which way. But I
Yeah.
know some people will be like, nope, if you're the stepdad, you're the dad, et cetera, et cetera. But I get it. And for everyone who may possibly be triggered by that, don't, man. It's weird and it's tough sometimes.
Yeah. Well, especially because my daughter's mother, my stepdaughter's mom, and I aren't together, haven't been a number of years, but I still kept a very close relationship with
Right.
my stepdaughter, just because, I mean, she was the first person to make me a dad. It was the first kid I was like in charge of.
Right.
That's and that's a tough thing too, with like having breakups and stuff where you've got step kids brought into the relationship and like continuing on with that. You are like the father figure since she's 3 years old. So that's really cool that you stuck with it and
Yeah.
stayed in her life and stayed there for her.
Yeah. And now, now it's more like, I send her like 20-30 bucks via Venmo every month while she's at college, so she can buy some pizza or something like that, so like, I still do all the things that I absolutely can. And even my mother still gives her Christmas presents and all, birthdays and all that stuff. My mom is still like, that's still one of my granddaughters regardless. And my ex-wife and I haven't been together for like 9 years. It's almost on almost a point of a decade. So
Good stuff, man.
Really cool.
And I don't know if you're aware, and this number may have gotten bigger since, it has been a year since we've done a Dadcast podcast. Nick knows what's coming. Nick has 87 children. Has it gone up? Has it gone up since in the year? Because actually, I know it has. I know.
Yeah, no, DHS calls us like once a month now. Hey, we got another one for you. So we haven't talked about so I foster now too. So my wife and I have foster kids now. We haven't ever talked about that on Dadcast or really the other podcast much. So, and it's kind of like having stepkids in a sense where it's weird. It's like you step into that role as their parent and they start calling you mom, dad, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's tough. It's like, how do you, do you differentiate that? Or do you just roll with it? My wife and I, we just roll with it and like whatever the kids are comfortable with. Like the ultimate goal is to make sure they're loved, they're safe, they're happy. I don't know if any of our viewers, if you guys have any suggestions, drop a comment when we drop the video so we can find out.
Yeah, that's because I look at it both ways, man. It's like, obviously, if the kid's comfortable enough, you're doing a great job, well done. But on the flip side, is that going to be harmful for them if and when, they are placed in a permanent home or they go back to their real parents? And what does it do to you and your psyche and the wife? I mean, that's got to be tough as well.
Dude, that's a whole nother podcast.
I can imagine, like,
my God,
you start getting attached.
Just the stress of going through everything with the court systems, DHS, and all the shit that we're going through right now is insane. The unknowns, is the baby going to go back to an unsafe person? Like all kinds of things. And I believe people can change and people can get better and do better and hope that they do. But, when the situation, like we know one of the kids that we have, we've known the mom for 9 years. So it's really tough to watch what the court systems are doing now. And there's a bunch of stuff that I'm going to advocate against in my community coming in the next couple of months. And so it's a really weird situation, and emotionally it sucks. It's like these kids could literally get pulled at any time.
Yeah.
And it's like, we've had the baby since he was first born. Like, we are the only parents he knows.
Yeah.
And so it's really, really weird. He's like, he calls me dad now. So it's definitely really, really strange.
I'm sorry I got this depressing. Let me change the mood.
Yeah, let's grab that bell, JP.
I don't
Need
know
to
what
blame
you
Trump.
saw or how much happened, but I brought out the U.S. title.
Well, that's what you were going for, and then all of a sudden everything just froze. I'm like,
Okay.
nothing's
Yeah, 'cause
happening.
I
So
got literally no reaction out of you. And I was like, oh my God. Okay. But so anyway, this is, a perfect replica. It's heavy as hell. And we got this at Money in the Bank 2023, I think. And it's signed by Austin Theory right there when
that's
he was
awesome.
the US champ. So we got that, me and my kid. That was a fun time.
So I'm going
So
to jump into one of our favorite kid questions. Do your daughters use what you've done
uh,
musically to get into like bigger concerts or
do they
meet
pull the
people?
dad card? Hey, dad, hook me
Yeah.
up. You know, so and so.
Yeah, well, I mean, my daughter's 12, so she gets it all the time just because she's always rolling with me, and I tell her all the time, like, you're gonna grow up and some point you're gonna have to realize you're gonna have to buy concert tickets and not get backstage passes all the time. There's gonna be a time, and then there was one time I was working, my stepdaughter and my ex went to see Zach Brown. So I called in a favor to the production manager at the venue because they had lawn seats. And then I called the head of security, and then the head of security went up and grabbed them and put them down right in the front row.
Oh,
front row. And
nice.
so she was like high-fiving Zach Brown. So they're not at the age yet where they've, obviously have asked me to hook them up yet, but they have been highly spoiled, both of them, their whole lives, because even when we go to the play last night, they just go up to the concession stand and get what they need. It's like they're not giving them, any. They're like, hey, that was $20. No, they go up and grab a bunch of candy. They go to the side. They come over, take care of my daughters. So it's like, yeah, I'm sure at some point they're gonna be pulling the card a little bit more when they're adults and they don't want me to come along. But
Yeah, my oldest did that. I had Granger Smith as a friend of mine, and I had him coming through the area when he was still touring. And his girlfriend's like a massive Granger Smith fan. And he was like, "Hey Dad, so since you know him, do you think you can like get me backstage, maybe on the tour bus? It'll score me some points." I'm like, "Fuck
Jesus.
yeah." So he was hanging out with Granger on his bus and stuff, and then got to go to the show and right
Yeah.
front row.
The big one that both my daughters want now is a dear friend of mine who was actually, when we toured the UK, he was our tour manager and the guy that drove our bus around, our little minivan around for the most part. He graduated on to like work with all these different artists, like everything from the Pretty Reckless, and then he was with the Red Hot Chili Peppers as the tour manager, but the production side. He was the production
Oh,
tour
cool.
manager. So tours like that, you have the tour manager for the band and you have the tour manager for the production. So he was on with the production. Then he left Red Hot Chili Peppers, and now he works for Kings of Leon and also Drake doing the same thing. And
Oh,
both of my
nice.
daughters are giant Drake fans. They're like, when Drake goes on tour, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it's gonna happen. But I go, listen, we get all the other perks. I go, we'll probably get into the show, but like the chances of meeting Drake are probably a lot slimmer because that gets to a level. When you're on a level like that, it's a little bit different than, no offense to Granger Smith or any of the other people that I've worked with, but that's like next level rock star.
Yeah, it's
All
got
right.
to be like Justin Timberlake. Scott Bartlett is his best friend is Justin's guitar player. Scott couldn't even get to go meet Justin Timberlake.
That's
So,
crazy.
yeah, it's got to be that kind of a crazy level where you're just
Yeah.
so guarded.
Yeah, he's guarded and rightfully so for a lot of reasons. But man, yeah. So I'm sure the day will come that I'll get exactly what
Yeah.
Nick got. They're just not at that age yet, but my stepdaughter will. Now that you said that, this coming summer that's gonna be the phone call. Now that she's 20, so
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
You make none of the shots you don't take. And I'm
oh,
piecing a few
absolutely,
things. I'm piecing a few of the things together here. So JP shooting a shot here. Syracuse, I'm assuming New York area.
yes, upstate New York,
Your
or
daughter is 12 years old.
correct.
So is mine. What do you know about the artist known as Somber?
I don't know who that is.
Okay,
Dude,
that
he's incredible.
surprises me. That surprises me. With a 12-year-old daughter who doesn't know who Somber is, I apologize in advance if you do find out about her. But so anyway, shot missed. We're good. You don't know who he is. There's no way you're going to be able to provide a phone call for my daughter and this guy. So we're good. But he's from New York.
Oh no, I don't know who it is. Yeah, my
He was
daughter,
like one of the fastest rising, I would say, alt emo pop guys.
Bonkers,
Right now.
huge.
Just
Huge.
massive.
I'll have
Like he went
maybe
from
I'll have
playing.
to. I'm actually at my daughter's school, sitting in the parking lot because I'm picking her up a little after 3:00 when we're done, and I'm going to ask her. She might know, but my daughter right now, musically, I mean, she goes to School of Rock. She plays bass and also sings. She plays violin. And she's doing roots rock right now, which they're learning like the oldies, like they're doing the locomotion and that style of music. But my daughter is really like, she loves Tyler the Creator. She is obsessed with
yes,
Tyler the Creator and Daniel Caesar, and Beba Doobie.
Yeah,
and
it's awesome.
and Lofe. I thought it was Lofi, but it's pronounced Lofe. But she's really into, I mean, most of the time it's usually Tyler the Creator. She has great taste in music, but she also loves what I love. But she is, it's crazy some days when I'm listening to her playlist, because it's like going from Metallica to Tyler the Creator to Eminem to all this stuff. I'm like, man, what a wild time,
How old was she, and when did you realize that she was taken after Papa when it came to being musically inclined?
2 or 3 years old.
Yeah.
But I never forced it upon her. Everyone always assumed like, oh, you're teaching her piano, you're teaching her how to sing. I'm like, no, I'm not doing any of that. One, because like, it's very tough to like, anybody, even people who are very accomplished teachers, music teachers and stuff like that, they have a very hard time teaching their kids. And me, I'm not really a teacher per se. So I also wanted my daughter to find music and find a love for music on her own and develop that, not because I was forcing it upon her. I mean, it's around her 24. When she's around me, it's just it's in the air. It's been around her. It's all of her life. But it was really a couple of years ago when she got into middle school, and that's when she picked up violin, when she got into chorus. And then this past summer is really when it took off, because my good friend opened a school of rock here in Syracuse. And it was the first one we've had in the area, because I don't believe there's any in upstate New York. And he opened one, and she went and did a 1-week camp just to go to try it out. And she started on guitar that day. She's like, I want to do guitar. And the next day she comes home, she's like, Dad, I'm going to play bass. I'm like, why? She's like, I just think it's so cool. So she went to bass and all that stuff. And then she enrolled. And this past fall, she did her first session and she had her first concert. Because I don't know if you know the premise of any of the School of Rocks. It's like you do lessons, but you do lessons one day a week. And then the other time that you go, the second day a week, is a 2-hour band rehearsal. You're put into different groups and you learn 3 songs. And at the end of like an 8 or 10 week period, then you put on a concert. And they put them on at like the dirty rock clubs here in town. Like the concert that my daughter did a couple weeks ago in early December, she played on the same stage that I cut my teeth on 30 years ago.
It's crazy.
And I'm sitting there in this club watching my daughter on stage in the pit that I saw like everybody. I mean, literally the list goes on and on who I saw in this pit. And I'm sitting there watching my daughter play Foo Fighters and Blink-182 and everything. And I'm just like, man, this is so surreal. But it was like, to get back, I kind of digressed there, but to get back to it, I've always known she was going to end up in music, and she loves playing it. But what really hasn't been shown yet is her voice is so good. It is so good. And anybody that hears it, like, oh my God, her voice. I'm like, well, she heard singing her whole life, and that's all she does. She sings constantly. So it's in her DNA. I don't know if she's going to pursue it as a career, and part of me hopes she doesn't,
Have you guys thought of doing the TikTok thing that Bobby Amaru did with his daughter?
We have. We're actually talked about that, and we talked about it a couple of years ago, but for a little while, I was like, I kept her out of social media for a little bit. Not for her to like not be on social media. That's another thing. But like when my TikTok and my social media really started blowing up, and when I was on Twitch and I started getting really well known on there started becoming a lot of fake accounts, which happens with anybody who starts getting traction. You start getting people making fake accounts. But there was fake accounts that were being made, and they were just using pictures of my daughter. And it got a little weird for a little bit.
Yeah.
So there was like a 2 or 3 year period that I just didn't really post pictures of her. I didn't talk about I briefly talked about her, but I didn't share pictures. I'm like, I'm gonna wait until she's a little bit older, because that freaked me the fuck out for a little bit, and I'm like, and
That's
then
strange.
yeah, it's strange. And I was just like, I don't, knowing some of the people, that I know that work in like law enforcement and also in the prison system, and knowing like, and I know this is going a little dark, but knowing what child predators are like, and also the really dark side of what people will do to images of other children on the internet. And then with the technologies they have, it goes down a very dark rabbit hole, and it really freaked me out for a bit. So it took me a little bit. I know that was a question like, hey, do you want to just play with your daughter? But like, we are going to do that. But I literally had to take a little pause for a little bit to kind of make sure that we were going to do this in the right way. And I didn't want her to, one, be exploited, and two, I wanted her to be there because she truly wanted to be there, not me. I see too many of my musician peers use their kids as props, because having kids on your videos, and I know some of my social media posts of my daughter are some of my most viewed social media posts, and for very probably, for the most part, really positive reasons. But at the same time, when people are using their kids for views and likes, that gets a little. But in the case of Bobby, man, that girl is just so insanely talented.
And Bobby's got kind of the same perception as you too. He didn't let Veda have her own account for years.
Yeah.
It was always Bobby jumped in. It was always done on Bobby's accounts. And then obviously things went where they went. Now Veda's got her own stuff.
Yeah.
And from what Bobby's saying, Veda's making more money than Saliva makes.
I'm sure she is. And my daughter,
it's unreal.
Yeah, my daughter we're not allowing her to have social media yet, just because, it's a slippery slope. It could get really weird. And I think sometimes we want to ease her into that world a little, with a lot of awareness of what could happen, because even her being on like Roblox and stuff like that, and there was a big thing over the past year with Roblox and how many how many predators are on there. And we were like, okay, we're going to pull it back. And she got real upset with us for a little bit. And without getting the specifics, nothing really bad happened, but there were some moments where things got a little sketchy, and she was making friends with people outside of the game that didn't live here. And I'm just like, man, you don't know if these people are actually who they say they are.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, oh, hang on. I actually just got a thing that the student council meeting was canceled today. Oh, she's going to be getting out of school a lot sooner. Let me pull up a little closer.
Oh, she's going to join in.
All right. Hopefully, I'm going to start my truck. Hopefully it doesn't screw up the connection. All right. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, you're good, brother.
All right. Happens when it goes to my Apple CarPlay. How about now?
You're still good.
All right, good. Perfect. All right. I'm going to text her real quick. Hopefully it doesn't close anything out here. I'm going to go sideways, but I'm going to text her and let her know I'm here, because they canceled.
This is actually like the perfect return to Dadcast, because this is like
real life
is actually
real
being
life
a
dad.
real life dad. Like,
this is a dad life, man. He's living it in real time, baby.
So
you're making me literally want to go drive to my daughter's school and pick her up just for no reason other than, hey, let's go. I'm going to get her out of PE today.
All right, let's get back. All right, so now we're back. Let me get to here. All right.
Let's dive a little bit into, because I'm curious. about you.
Okay.
How did walk me through? You wrote a song, the Big Show's theme song in WWE. I'm thinking early 2000s Big Show. You know, everyone, you all know it. If you're wrestling fans, you know the song. Well, it's the Big Show. That's you.
I'm going to condense a very long story, which could be an entire podcast by itself, into a very short thing. If anyone knows the Big Show theme song, he had one prior that was more bluesy, that was sang by Michael Hayes. Actually a former legend in wrestling as well. So we'll jump ahead. So that was the original theme song. And in 2005, we were out on the road with Motorhead. My band was out on the road. We're touring with Motorhead. The second time we're touring Motorhead.
Wow.
With Lemmy. And that day we were playing in a place called the Hampton Beach Casino in Hampton Beach, New Hampshire. And they said, hey, Triple H and Stephanie are going to be here tonight, because obviously Triple H and Motorhead had a very close history because they did it. And I didn't think anything of it just because I didn't think they would show up to see us. It's a celebrity. They'll probably roll in at the last minute. They'll be hidden away and all that stuff. Well, we get on stage, and during the first song, I see Triple H and Stephanie run, not walk, but run down in between the barricade and the stage, and both their hair down and like banging. They're like, they're like getting into our band. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, this is so surreal. Get off stage. They come in the dressing room. We end up hanging out with them for a couple of hours, just talking and just becoming close. And they're like, you guys need to be involved with the WWE. And this isn't just some jobber, this is the now boss. And the boss's daughter. And they're like, we're going to get everything back, give us your manager's number, label, all that stuff. We're going to make everything happen. You'll get a call within a day. And they did. Like 2 days later, our manager got the call, and they're like, yeah, we're going to work we want to work with your band. We just don't know in what facet. And that was like the spring of 2005. So they're like, just stay tuned. It may be a couple months, but we're going to be involved. So then fast forward to the fall, we got the phone call again. We're on a tour with Black Label Society. And they called and like, hey, you have 2 days off in between Springfield, Massachusetts and Toledo, Ohio. You're going to go to WWE headquarters and you're recording the new theme song for the Big Show. So we're like, well, what are we doing? Are we writing a song? They're like, no, take the existing song, sludge it up and just get heavier, just like more balls. So that's all the guideline that we had. And on a Monday morning, in between Springfield and Toledo, Ohio, we showed up at WWE headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut, got in the studio with Jim Johnstone, the legend who literally wrote everything we've ever heard pretty much when it comes to wrestling theme songs. We got in the studio and we spent the entire day working with Jim, just coming up. He's like, what do you guys got? And we played him the ideas, and we recorded that song in probably 6 hours while they were getting ready for WWE Raw. So in the middle of the session, Jim like, all right, everyone take 5. I got to do something. And they were doing stuff for WWE for Raw that night. So we're literally at headquarters watching them record a song for us. We're recording a song for them. They're in there doing music for that night. The whole operation of WWE, and we did multiple things with them over the course of the next couple of years. Unbelievable to watch it, to watch an organization run like it was. Like, holy shit, there's a lot going on behind the scenes. But we recorded that, and then again, there's a lot to the story. But then the following spring, Big Show, they're like, we're finally gonna use the song. They moved them over. That was when they bought AEW, not AEW, they bought ECW. And they were relaunching ECW as their brand with a pay-per-view. And they're like, we're turning Big Show to a heel. We moved him to ECW, and they did a show at Irving Plaza. And that's when they unveiled his theme song. So 2006? 2006 is when they launched it in ECW. And it was his theme song all the way up through until he left WWE, what, in 2020, 2021, somewhere around there. when he bounced. So it was
20
man, there's so many
years
stories.
ago, bro. 2
Yeah.
decades ago that
Oh,
happened.
it was.
Right?
Jesus Christ. How
I
did that
know.
happen?
I know, man. I know.
But what a ride. And like, you know, obviously I've done some other things in my career, but like I still have to pinch myself when someone's like, oh my God, you were my childhood. Like, oh my, like all this shit. Like there's a lot of iconic theme songs and there's a lot of iconic wrestlers, but just because they're an iconic wrestler doesn't mean they have an iconic theme song. Big Show's theme song is easily top 3 most recognizable wrestling theme songs of all time. Right up there with the glass breaking and Stone Cold coming out, or you know the Rock or time to play the game, that shit. Like, so not everybody's gonna remember Mankind's like intro, or like.
Nope. But dude, if there's right off the gate, well,
yeah, and
you know who it is, and that was you. That's cool.
And now in popular culture, people are using that sound. I get videos every day. Oh my God, look at this viral video. Someone using that. And it has nothing to do with wrestling. People don't even know that's wrestling. They just know that theme song and they know my voice. So like I start going in my head, holy shit, not millions of people, billions of people know my voice. But if I was sitting right next to them, they would have no fucking clue that I'm that guy.
Well, now you do. Now you all do. And I'm going to ask. Give me a well. Give me a well.
It's a big show.
And that's Dadcast. Have a good day. See you.
There you go. Mic drop, we're out, so.
Oh, that's so good, man. Have you done any other theme music work for WWE? Or is that
nothing for WWE? But I obviously, we mentioned earlier AEW when he jumped over to AEW, and I think that was 2021.
Yeah, when
he jumped over there, and that was a crazy story because all of a sudden someone reached out to me. They're like, and this is before X, when it was still Twitter. Someone's trying to find you on Twitter. I'm like, who? They're like, Mikey Ruckus, and Mikey Ruckus is the music director for AEW. So I went on there and I messaged him. I rarely go on X or Twitter. It's never a platform I really use. Went on there and he's like, hey, DMs me. He's like, can I call you? Calls me. He's like, I'm like, yeah, what's going on? And he's like, well, Paul's over here with AEW and I have written a theme song and we need it recorded. And I'll be transparent. Originally, they were going to go try to get someone like Lenny Kravitz. They wanted to do something really different. But when they realized none of that was going to work out, Paul and AEW Brass are like, how do we get the guy that did the other one for you in WWE? And that's how it landed on me. So then Mikey's like, yeah, we got a little bit of money. We got a little bit of budget for you to be able to do this. Do you have the ability to record at your house? I'm like, yeah, I got a studio in my house. He's like, well, I'm going to send it over. I'm like, all right, well, when do you need it done by? It's like, well, today. This is a Monday. And he's like, we need this theme song for Wednesday. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, okay, send it over. And it was all written and the vocal guides were already there. But the one thing that wasn't there was if you hear the AEW theme song, it's like, it starts with a riff. And then I go, where? It's a little bit different key, but I nail that because now people are like, all the wrestling fans are like, know that Big Show is going to come out, or as he's known in AEW as Paul White. It kind of bridged the gap, and that was not originally in there. It was all the other lyrics, and I just threw that in there because I'm like, it's kind of like this. And I remember recording it. I get off the phone with Mikey, and I'm like, shit, I got to do this now. And I was nervous, and at the time, I still drank. I don't drink anymore. So I turned around to my bar and I poured the biggest shot of Jack Daniels that I could possibly do. And I just went, I shook it off and I went over and I recorded 4 versions of the song in like 20 minutes. I just boom, boom, boom. I sent it over to him. He's like, holy shit, you worked fast. And then that night he sends me the template and he's like, dude, this is going to go this Wednesday. You can't say anything and all that stuff. And then the next thing you know, all my wrestling friends didn't know about it. And then they all start texting me on Wednesday night because this is during COVID. Everyone's watching like whatever. And they're like, holy shit, is that you? I'm like, yep. They're like, you did it again.
That's so cool.
But with other theme songs, there's a lot of, and I've done, I think 3 other real small independent wrestlers have reached out. Hey, will you do my theme song? And then I call a couple of my production guys. And I've done one for a guy in Canada. I've done one for a guy in the South, and I've done one here in the independent circuit here in Syracuse. So I've done a couple other wrestling theme songs, and they all have that same vibe. I tell them, listen, we can't do the big show, but I will give you that energy.
Yeah.
So
have you met Paul?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Many times we
big
met
boy,
him
huh?
2 weeks. Yeah, dude. And when we first met him in 2005, he was much bigger because he was over 500 pounds at that time. He's slimmed down quite a bit. He's not nearly as large, but you don't realize how big he is. And then you stand next to this man and he shakes your hand and it's like a baby. You're holding a baby's hand because his hands are like it's not even a catcher's mitt. You're talking about like a steering wheel.
Yeah.
Like we had some beers with him and he's holding a beer and it looks like he's holding a little tiny cup.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was fucking mind blowing how big this guy was. It was super cool. And there was a couple of times we did some press with him and stuff like that. And he was always just so thankful that we are involved with him. And the other part of it was the first time we went to a Raw was a couple weeks after we recorded that song. And when we got there, we pulled into the arena underneath. They let us pull our crappy van and trailer into the arena in Indianapolis and park next to everything else. And the first person to meet us there was Triple H. Triple H says, I'm in charge of you guys today. And took care of us from the minute we walked into that arena at 1:00 until we left at midnight. And, took us to meet Vince and had catering and introduced us to everybody on the level. Sat in on the writing process that day. We got to watch Shawn Michaels, and I can't remember who he wrestled that night, work out their match backstage. And anytime we ever ran into Triple H, man, he just took care of us. And I haven't seen him in a number of years, but man, just always grateful to Triple H and Stephanie for taking care of us, because if anyone ever would say that any shit about them, I'd be like, dude, fuck you. They're the coolest fucking people I ever fucking met.
Were you a fan of wrestling prior to that fateful day?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So dude, that's like a little boy's dream come true, man. That is
fuck. I mean, I got into wrestling in the early 80s. Hulk Hogan. Like I watched the very first WrestleMania on pay-per-view. I got into wrestling when everybody did in the 80s. So I grew up with that. And like for me to be a part of it is still, like I said, it goes back to I'm pinching myself going, holy shit. I'm a very well-known, I'm a part of the fabric of the history of WWE. Even if no one knows my name, they know who the hell I am,
They need to get the microphone you recorded that first well on and put it in the friggin', that WWE show of the lost treasures or whatnot. I'm telling you, man, that'd be a good piece.
Dude, someone said, like, on your tombstone, you're gonna have to be let's just say well right across my tombstone.
Well, it's just Joe lying here.
I've done a lot of parodies for people. I had a heating and air conditioning place in Charlotte, North Carolina, have me do a parody of it so they could use it on their advertising, Yeah, it's a wild world, man. I lean into it a little bit, but I try not to lean in it too much because I don't want to look like I'm just like, that's my only thing.
Yeah. No, obviously. And for the record, if you're listening or watching right now, go check out Joe's Instagram. I just perused, I did like 2 swipes and I'm like, I'm going to pick one. And I ran into that Run to the Hills by that Maiden cover. You got some talent, man. You are seriously here she is.
You want to talk? I'm doing a podcast about being a dad, and you are here. So lean in.
How's it going? Nice to meet you.
That's my daughter, Abriana.
Hey,
we call her Abri or Abes. But so,
are you kidding me right now?
what's your
You call her Avery?
Avery.
Avery. Okay, so remember I kept telling you how our paths were very similar when it came to dad?
Yeah.
Okay, so I got a stepdaughter, got her when she was 3. I've got a 12-year-old daughter whose name is Avery.
Get out of here.
And it's bonkers. When do you turn 13, girl?
November.
Okay, my dog. I'm like, if she says May, I'm walking out.
God.
I'm getting a plane ticket, and we're gonna go have dinner somewhere because this is too bonkers.
Yeah, that is a little bonkers, but that's awesome. But yeah, like you're getting to see Dadcast in real time today.
That's amazing.
What a great episode to come back. Like you're literally watching me be a dad.
That's. I think we should do all of our episodes this way, Nick.
I think the only other time we've actually had someone with their kids was the dude from Boondock Saints. Remember, he was at karate with his kids.
Yeah. No, and also the Bronx Wanderers, one of the biggest Vegas shows. Vinny, the two Vinnies. It was a father-son duo, and they're huge. They're like the number one act in Vegas for years.
Oh, that's great. So let's go back. Let's ask my daughter. Who's that artist we were talking about earlier?
All right, Avery.
Yes.
Somber.
I love him.
There you
He's
go.
the best.
There we go. So
He's the best. I love him.
we were talking about it. He's like, "Do you know Somber?" I'm like, "I don't, but I think my daughter probably does."
Well, he's in New York, so if you could use your incredible
I'm looking at his tours.
skill. Oh, he's in Europe right now. My daughter's begging me to take her to London, and I'm like, sorry, hon, it's not gonna happen.
I'm gonna go to Paris.
But he's gonna have a tour. His next tour should be spring back in the States sometime.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I mean, but he lives in New York, I believe in New York City. So
all right, well, we'll have to look that up. So all right, well, we're driving. She's gonna do her thing, but we can keep going as we're driving home. So
we're up close. We're approaching that time anyway. So I'm gonna finish it off with a couple questions. Nick, you got something?
Sure.
Yeah. What's your biggest funniest dad fail moment in your life of being a dad?
Oh. God. What do you think? I don't know. It's, I'll be real right now. Like there's times my career has taken me away from being as present as I would like to be,
Something we all struggle with.
Right. It's a delicate balancing act for anybody with any sort of demanding career, especially one that's in the arts, because, it requires me to be away at nights. I work very odd hours. There's been times I've been on the road. A couple of years ago, I was on the road for 3-4 weeks at a time. But there's one thing that I've been trying to do over the past couple of years is change my business model so that I am more present, because she's 12, my stepdaughter is 19, and I know how quickly these next few years are going to go before she graduates and she's kind of off on her own. And I want to be able to, I want to be just present for these next couple of years is more than I probably was at certain times in my life. So I guess that it's a more generalized thing. I don't think it was a failure. It's just a matter of finding that balancing act, doing what my career is into that. So.
Well, a little piece of advice that someone told me a while back, and it hits home when it comes to this whole thing as dad, man. And it's so simple, but it's so true. It only takes a moment to make a moment.
Yep.
So
why
grab up those moments, man.
That's why we try to do all those things like we did last night, where we go to the Broadway plays. We do these little things because those are the things that meant a lot to me with my dad. Because my dad worked very odd hours too, as a security guard, and also he was a fire chief in the volunteer fire department and the code enforcement officer. My dad was a super busy guy, but as busy as he was, I never felt like he was never not present. Even though he would miss certain things here and there, he was always he was the best he could be. So I learned a lot from him being able to do that. So.
All right. Awesome. So I've never had the opportunity to ask this question when the daughter in question was with you. So this may be awkward, but we're going to run with it. It was 12 years ago and about 2 months. and she came onto the scene, were you there in the room when she was born? And if you were, what were the emotions? What was that experience for you?
I was there, I was in the room, and wow, it was just a crazy night because I was literally leaving for a gig. She was a couple weeks early. She wasn't preemie. She just was born 2 weeks ahead of her thing. So I was literally walking out the door to go to a gig. And my ex-wife was just like, I think my water just broke, and I'm like, uh-oh. I go, what's that mean? She's like, it means you're not going to your gig. We got to go to the hospital. So went to the hospital, and, it wasn't a super long labor. It was my ex's second daughter. So anybody, most of the time, that second delivery is a lot quicker than the first one. So I just remember it all kind of happened. It was like 2, 3 in the morning, and my daughter came out like a rocket, like that, came out really fast. But the problem was she had the cord wrapped around her neck. So she came out purple. And it's not uncommon, but she was not breathing. So they had to quickly, all of a sudden there's a bunch of nurses in there, and they're cutting the cord, and they're bringing it over. And she's, it seemed like an eternity, but it was probably only 10 or 15 seconds.
Yeah,
right? It wasn't that very long. And then I'm freaking out. My ex is there, like just went through child labor, which anybody who's a dad witnesses that. That is like women win. Like, I don't care how tough you are of a guy. I could never do that. I could never go through that. So then all of a sudden she starts breathing. And I go over and they're like, you want to cut the rest of the cord? Because they just quickly cut it. Cut the rest of the umbilical cord. And I reached down, and her little hand reached up and grabbed my finger. And like at that moment, it was like, this is the craziest thing I've ever been through in my entire life. Right. I wrote a song. I haven't finished it, but it was big. I've had crazy night and bar fights, got all these different rhymes, but I go, the craziest night of my life is the night I met you. And it was just surreal because at that moment, that your life is forever changed.
Yep.
And you can try to predict what that's going to feel like as a human being. And, but nothing prepares you until you actually become a dad. And that at that moment was just like, and I remember just finally sitting down in the chair, and it was just like, I had no words. I was just kind of frozen for like a minute, just trying to like, okay, let's go. And here we are almost 13 years later.
Yep. And you're driving her home from school, man. It's amazing.
Now,
all right.
She was supposed to have student council, and now we're going to go home. She's probably going to have a snack. I'm going to take her to, she's got
homework today because there was a lockdown.
Oh, no homework. There was a lockdown at school because there was an alarm technical thing went around, and it made the whole school go down on lockdown, even though there wasn't an issue, but they had to go on lockdown for a few hours. So you can go home and have a snack, and then she's got band practice at School of Rock at 4 o'clock.
Let's go.
Yeah. I told them all about that.
Student council and vice president.
Yeah, I told them all that. So bring it.
All right, Joe Altier. Final question.
So literally, Dadcast was in real time.
Yeah,
no, go ahead.
No, I love it.
What's
man.
the final question? I'm ready.
That was great. I mean, you can't. I love it when things are organic and just work out like they do. And you were so cool to do it. A lot of dads might be like, oh, we're not putting. We got to reschedule. Well done. Thank you. Final question. What is your best piece of advice you can give to any brand new dad? That's it.
Man, well, there's a lot of advice, but I'm just like something off the top of my head is like, man, you're not going to be perfect at it. You're not. There's like anybody can give you advice, and you can watch what your parents did, but each situation is going to be slightly different. The world is going to be slightly different. The way your parents raised you is not going to be the way you raised your kids, no matter what. And you can have some of the core values. Let's talk about that. But the situation is completely different, and the world evolves. And what worked 20 years ago may not be something that is applicable nowadays. So you have to be okay with knowing that you don't know shit.
There it is, right
and
there.
And it's
you
okay.
need to be okay. You don't know. You don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
you
don't know.
My son and my daughter, same parents, same household, same upbringing, same food eaten. Nothing is different, but they are 100% complete opposite ends of the spectrum in personality, how they treat people, how they act. It's just, I don't get it. I don't understand, but
yeah,
it's a learning experience. Everybody,
absolutely. No, it is, man. This was fun, man. Always.
Well, we'd love to have you back on too, man. Maybe in a studio setting, some internet connections that work as they should. But no, this was good, dude. I'm glad we stayed on. You know, Nick was like, man, I'm turning it off, and I'm like, no, we're waiting 10 more minutes.
No, I'll be back. I was gonna find a way to get back. So.
No. Thank you so much for everyone watching. Thank you so much for taking your time out. He is Joe Altier. Check him out on all the socials. Joe Altier. What are your socials handles, website, so they can check you out?
You can look up Joe Altier, but a lot of times you just look up Just Joe, and I'm going to pop up everywhere.
Just Joe. And it's amazing. Well, it's been a great show.
All right, thank you very much. Theme song now.
Yeah, to everyone. Oh, yeah, you want to do a Dadcast theme song? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Well, maybe.
To everyone watching, thank you so much. Please like, subscribe, do all the things that you're supposed to do, and we'll catch you on the very next episode one more time. On behalf of myself and Nick Martin and Mr. Joe Altier, have a great rest of your day. See you. Be great.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Take care, man.
All right.
Thanks,
take care.
Bye,
Nick,
Avery. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Right. Yeah. Bye, guys.
See ya.